on, show your love, show your love. It was Kona with an N, right?
Yeah, Kona with an N. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. When I was 19 years old, I met a native Alaskan man while we were both traveling through Colorado. And a couple days later, we weren't ready to say goodbye, so I decided to drive him home to Fairbanks, Alaska. Yes, from Colorado. It was an epic month-long road trip, and when we get to his cabin, I just move in with him. Straight away, first ever live-in boyfriend. I find out that his dad's actually Native Alaskan, and his mom is this tough German woman who had been living with the tribe for the last 40 years. She had learned the language and adapted to the culture. And I also found out that my boyfriend cared a lot about having her approval, and that she was this old school Catholic. So I was super nervous, like, what does she think of us living together before I even meet her? But it took several months for her to come down to Fairbanks. And when she finally did, she made a reservation at her favorite restaurant. So we show up, and she's already seated on the other side of this really big booth. So there's no like handshaking or anything. We just slide in, start talking. She seems very engaging and nice, and I think it's going well. When we're done, we all walk out to the parking lot together. And I say, well, Ginny, it was so nice to meet you. And I do the thing that comes the most natural to me in the world. I throw my arms out wide for a hug. Now, the reason hugging comes so natural to me is because I was raised on like OCD levels of hugging by this little Jewish woman. So I'm standing there with my arms out wide to hug my boyfriend's mom goodbye. And to my absolute horror, she takes a step back and goes, I don't do that. So freaked out, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I shoot my hand out to shake her hand instead. And she just shakes her head, lights a cigarette, and walks away. I am mortified, certain I have offended her. My boyfriend's like, don't worry, that's just how she is. And then he tells me he doesn't remember the last time that he hugged her. And I agree, he should have told me that. Would have been nice to know. So it's really hard for me to get used to a family that doesn't hug. But over the next couple years, my interactions with Ginny does not evolve past the same awkward, contactless hellos and goodbyes. 2 years into our relationship, I move with him to his hometown, which is this village north of the Arctic Circle, 500 people off the road system, almost all members of his tribe. And it's a pretty big adjustment. I have to carry a rifle to the outhouse. Yeah. Couple days later, Ginny backs me into a corner and says, you have to stop acting this way, Kona, or you're gonna get beat up or worse. And she's referring to how friendly I am. She says, it's not customary to make so much eye contact, and somebody's gonna kick my ass if they see me talking to their husband or boyfriend this way. So about 3 weeks later, my phone rings, and it's Ginny. And she says, Kona, I've been waiting for you to invite me over for dinner. And I'm just thinking, great, I have failed once again. And first of all, she's like famously a picky eater. And I don't even have a real oven. I'm living in a 12-foot by 12-foot log cabin without running water. And I have a pot on top of a 50-gallon drum that we use as a fireplace. But whatever, Ginny wants to come to dinner, so I invite her. And I make tuna casserole, something I know she'll at least eat. So the night rolls around, she comes over, and the first thing she does is she walks in and she goes over the window where there's this painting hanging up. And she takes the painting down, puts it on the ground, and then she reaches in her bag and she pulls out this like wall hanging thing, and she hangs it up in its place, all without saying a word. And then she sits down, does her little Catholic prayer, and starts eating. And I am so confused. I look over at my boyfriend, and he's like snickering, but he's gesturing, I'll tell you later, I'll tell you later. And I look up at this thing, and honestly, it's kind of hideous. It's like this mismatch of paint and feathers, and there's some beads on it. And the only thing I can think of is it's a hex. She's trying to get rid of me. I don't know. And so we eat, but I try to be polite, so I smile and say, thank you so much. And she just nods. And then when she's done, she leaves as abruptly as she always does. And I turn to my boyfriend and I say, okay, what the hell is that thing? And he is just cracking up and he says, well, we're married now. Yeah, according to the tribe, traditionally marriage is when the mother of the man makes something and hangs it on the wall of the house you live together. So I guess she didn't hate me so much after all. And we got a lot closer. We never touched, but she made me really pretty beadwork and taught me how to make traditional meals and taught me that just because some families don't hug, it doesn't mean they don't love each other. And when we finally broke up, it was the easiest divorce in the history of the world. Just had to take it down. Thank you.